Hello neighbor, this is Curt with etrailer, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Kuat Piston SR and see how it interacts with our 2022 Ford Edge. Now if you decide to go with the Piston SR and you've got some experiences with it that you want to share, go ahead and leave those in the comments below. We'd love to share your story with our other neighbors so they can make the best decision for themselves. Now, the Ford Edge is an excellent family vehicle, but maybe you're the only one in the household that really takes any serious bike rides or anything like that, and you're looking for a premium bike rack to carry that single bike with you, to and from the trail. The Kuat Piston SR is an option for you that does check a lot of boxes. One, you do get a lot of versatility out of it. It is double wheel mounted, and you can set this bar to all different size of wheels, so it can really kind of carry any kind of bike that you choose. In fact, even though it's wheel mounted, if you have a bike with fenders, there is an available strap kit for purchase separately right here at etrailer.com. It also has a weight limit of 100 pounds. So for any of you that have some of those heavier e-bikes out there, this can be an excellent choice for you as well. So as far as how it fits against the Edge, the Piston SR does keep it pretty tight to the vehicle itself. Now the Edge actually has a really aggressive taper back here as far as the rear windshield, and we do have a bike on here that is a rather large frame. It's got 15.5-inch handlebars here, so it really isn't in any danger of making contact with this rear windshield. Even if I give it a really aggressive shake, we're really not coming anywhere close. The other thing though is that pedal placement. If you have a larger bike with wider pedals like this, if you keep the pedal toward the inside more in an upright position up in here, you're really not going to be in any danger of vehicle contact. But if you keep it down low down here, there's a good chance it could knock against the bumper from time to time. Now, I did also mention that, this has a really aggressive taper, which is what is letting this bike actually sit on here. So let's take a quick measurement and just see from the wheel tray up to this point right here, just how much room you're going to have as far as your bike frame. So from the tray to this lip right here, it's just under 34 inches. So if your handlebars from the ground up come lower than that, there's a really good chance that you are going to be making contact with the vehicle. Now, another thing that we want to worry about a little bit is what kind of visibility are we going to have back here? Just like any platform rack, there are going to be some obscurities. For the most part, as far as other drivers go, the taillights are actually going to be pretty visible to them. We do have some partial blockage of our license plate. We'll also have some partial blockage coming out of our rear view camera. So it's a good idea to know just what kind of footprint this is leaving behind your bumper. And to the furthest part of the bike rack, which would be at the end of this piston right here, we're really looking at only about 13 inches. So you got a little over a foot to account for back here when you're backing into tighter spaces or trying to parallel park. And that's really not a whole lot. That would be a benefit of this sitting a bit closer to the vehicle. The other thing that we want to take a look at for you is ground clearance. Now, this is a straight shank coming out of this bike rack, so it's really going to leave it at about the same height as the hitch, but since it comes out a little bit further, we do want to take into account that you've got about 10 inches of ground clearance back here, which is pretty decent because it sits so close to the vehicle, but you do want to keep that in mind whenever you're heading up a steep incline or driveway. Another thing that we want to take a measurement of is just how high do we have to lift our bike in order to get it on here. Remember, this has a 100-pound capacity. So if you're not comfortable with lifting your bike up 13 inches in order to get it up here in the wheel well, you could probably consider the telescoping ramp that you could get from Kuat to go with this. It's also available here separately at etrailer.com. So when it comes to loading and unloading your bike, this is where the pistons come in very, very handy. Because you can walk up with your bike and get it open without really too much trouble. All you really have to do is press down on this here. That is going to release our wheel hold there. And we'll hold on to the bike and we'll come around and do the same up here in the front. Now, we're able to just roll it back slightly and lift our bike down off the carrier itself. Very, very simple. Now we're ready to store our bike or hit the trail. Now, this is a stationary bike carrier, which means with the bike loaded, it doesn't have a tilt-away feature to get into your lift gate, so you would have to remove the bike in order to do that. With that being said, when it's time to load that bike up again, all you really need to do is press against these, and you hear that ratcheting. That is what's going to tighten and hold the bike down. And when it's time to store it with no bike on it, you just push it all the way down, lift up this latch right here, and it'll catch it and keep it in place. Another feature about the piston is, I had mentioned earlier about the ramp. If you wanted to use the ramp, and this would work on either side of the bike carrier, depending on how you park and what kind of access you have, all you need to do is press down on this again, lower this all the way to the ground, and you could attach your ramp and load up your heavier bike. If we press this down again, we'll be able to get it back up into its load position, where it'll start ratcheting like before. We'll bring it right down and latch it shut just like that. Now, because it doesn't really need a stowaway feature, it already sits closer to the vehicle than even a lot of other bike racks that do have a stow feature. So this is really going to be an unobtrusive type of bike rack to keep on your Ford Edge. So all in all, if you're somebody that has a heavier bike or, just a variety of bikes that you can change these back and forth in order to accommodate, and you really want that premium single bike carrier for you and your Ford Edge, I think the Kuat Piston SR is an excellent choice for you. I'm Curt with eTrailer. Thanks for stopping by.